Why, hello, Alice, and welcome back to the Mad Tea Party. You have joined us at a fortuitous, serendipitous, monumentous occasion. We once again have the great Kris Jackson of All the Tension joining us. And
Thanks for having me.
also of All the Tension, we have Tyler Peck joining for the first time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, you were not able to join us for the last one. We had other members of All the Tension on last time. But this time you guys have an album coming out.
That's right.
Last time it was just a single. This time you
Mhm.
have an album coming out,
The
which
whole
is
shebang.
which is titled
All the tension.
All the
Just
Tension.
self-titled. Yeah. Because we're bringing all the tension. So I
Yeah.
don't know, it felt appropriate. I thought about different names and stuff, and I was just like, for the first one, we'll go with
Yeah,
this.
self-titled. What about an album that is called self-titled?
That is just called self-titled.
Yeah.
That should be a thing. Surely somebody's done it.
And that comes out
June 20th.
cool. This will
So
probably
right
go
around the
up
corner.
that week. So catch that in a
Okay.
few days. And then y'all are playing a show the 24th
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Wednesday following at the Cobra.
at the Cobra. At
Yeah.
the Cobra.
The Cobra. That's right. Well, it actually the Hungry and the Dangerous. You're familiar with them. They hit us up about this show, and I knew because it was like I don't know, probably April. They were talking to us about it, and I was like, yeah. I mean, like I knew that I wanted to release the album in June, and so I was like, and we were thinking about doing an album release show, but it was like they want to do the show at Cobra. They want us involved, and it's going to be Sleep Nation, Sleeper Signal, the Hungry and the Dangerous, and us. I was like, that's a hell of a lineup. I mean, it's perfect
Yeah.
for our first show. It's all homies.
Yeah, an all homies bill.
Yeah. Oops, all homies. So I was like, yeah, no, we have to do it. And it's at Cobra. So, we have a song called Parking Lot Malort Shots on the album.
You sure do.
And Cobra sells Malort.
Nice.
So it was like, what better place, honestly, to do our first show than that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
need
I'm
like
super excited.
a Malort collab with All the Tension.
Yeah. Derek, he was talking to us. He was like, I think you guys could get like some sort of Malort sponsorship or something.
I think it's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah. We might, because we've been talks with him about shooting a music video for Parking Lot Malort Shots.
I feel like this album pairs really well with Malort. It's like
bitter and hateful.
Yeah, it sounds like what it's like to drink Malort. So
wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, very excited for everyone to endure that.
Yeah, especially that song in particular. It hits you in the mouth.
But all jokes aside, I really like what y'all are doing, especially the really heavy stuff.
Super cool, man.
What do you like to play on the album?
Oh, as
the
far
drums.
as
Drums.
yeah, I'm a drummer.
He's the drummer.
I'm the drummer of the group. And I've known Kris for a few years now. So like
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know I am too. But,
Way too long.
Yeah, but him and I met, we do a lot of kind of like the tribute nights that go around town. I think the first time I met Kris, we played like an 80s new wave theme kind of night.
That was the first time, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And so our good friend John Nicholson, he's like the promoter of all these shows, and he does other ones. This one called The Void, which is like an industrial metal kind of night. And then Kris and I have been on like songs together, and that's kind of how we started connecting. And then I joined a Korn tribute band called Carrot. And
you've probably seen them.
Yeah. I know John, I know Carrot and all that.
So I played drums for them.
Okay, right on.
And then I've been in that band, and then Kris hit me up about doing All the Tension, and I thought that would be a lot of fun. It's definitely a step up from like Korn kind of stuff, just because especially with there's a lot of like more double kick and stuff involved with All the Tension's kind of music. So I thought that would be a fun opportunity to kind of go up to the next level as far as like musicianship, and just I'm someone that likes a challenge. I like to get out of my comfort zone, and it's also a band just with like all my friends, like people I've met in town, and I think it's been great to play with them. I mean, I think it's not only I think it's like the three triangles. Like, do you like the music? Do you like the people? And I think that kind of like fits the mold of like why I said yes to be part of the group.
Right on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was when I started the band, I was like trying to think of like some of my friends that would be down to join, and I think like I went to it was the year I started. Y'all did Welcome to the New Year, the Carrot tribute, like well, new metal New Year. What do you call that fucking show?
Welcome to the new year. We do it.
Yeah.
We do it every January at the Basement East.
Right on.
Yeah,
And I think we're gonna be moving it to East Side Bowl next
well, that'd
year.
be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had just seen him play with Carrot, and I was like, Tyler's cool. Like we always like have had a good relationship,
Mm-hmm.
since we met. And you're doing Carrot, like you're doing Corn. I was like, he can play heavy stuff. This could definitely work. What do you think, Tyler? I sent him some of my demos, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
I say like it was definitely like I was like when I first heard Death was the first song that they recorded, and I was just like, I said yes, and then I started listening, like I'm like, holy shit, how am I gonna learn this like these like kick patterns? But I really just like worked at it, and like it's still a work in progress. Like I have gone on deep YouTube dives and have just like been so like trying to figure out how to get better and better at like the double kick technique kind of thing, just because playing this music, like you definitely have to like really kind of know what you're doing. Otherwise you can like physically hurt yourself, or like you want to make sure like you sound good, because like the big thing is sounding clean, and also like in time is like the biggest thing, like when you're trying to get better at double kick, and also just being able to like a lot of control and being consistent. So I think it's been great, like for me as like a musician and drummer, to like expand my mind and expand like dipping my toes in different genres of music.
Right on. Yeah. I mean,
you've done great.
branching out just makes you more well-rounded. That's really cool.
And you've come a long way with it in 2 years, man.
Yeah.
How I know we were talking before Alice got here. You were telling me we were talking about parking lot malort shots, and how that song popped into your head near the end of 24. Are these all songs that you've been sitting on?
Only a few, actually. I'd say almost all of them I wrote with going into this project. The only ones that I had prior to it, there's three of them. It was Nevermind, All My Friends Are Dead, and Prime. Those I had actually written while I was with Moonlight Drowns. And, at the time they were going to be Moonlight Drowns songs. I had some others, but when I started doing All the Tension, I was pretty intentional about what I wanted to bring into it and what I wanted to leave out. I was like, what fits the bill? And those were the only three that I felt like really fit what I wanted it to be. And then so everything else I was written like while I was in All the Tension and like making music for them.
I gotcha. So the like whatever the most recent one you wrote was, like how long ago was that?
Okay. That would be IDC. I Don't Care. I wrote that at probably the tail end of recording the songs. Actually, we probably had two more full songs left to record that we had already like fleshed out. Like these are the songs that we're gonna write. It's gonna be a 10-song album. And one day I was in a state of mind and I was playing piano, and I came up with a little piano part. And then those words just kind of came out like, some days I'll cry, someday I'll die. No one knows why, but I don't care anymore. And I was like, ooh, that's good. That's pretty powerful. I was like, that would actually be a great follow-up that would be a great way to end the album, is this, what I called it, apathetic acceptance. Is that after everything in the album, it's like, you know what? whatever. Because honestly, at the time when I wrote it, I was like, that's how I felt. I was like, you and I have talked actually in quite depth about like our like beliefs and the afterlife and all that kind of whatnot. And I'm like very much so agnostic in that I just don't really believe in anything.
I think that's the only actual answer is I don't know.
It's the only truth out there.
I mean, it's like
is that we don't know anything.
The older I'm getting, like I just understand that I don't know anything now, whereas like when you're younger, it's you think you know everything. And it's like some wisdom is to understand that it's like actually I don't know shit and no one does.
Yeah, no one
People are
does.
acting like they do, but no one has any idea what the fuck is going on.
And then bounce off that, I kind of feel like people, the early days of humanity, they want an explanation of why things happen. Like, why does certain weather patterns happen? Why do, say like making like some things like a fire, and it's just like, oh, there must be like a higher being. And I think at that time it's for them to explain like why stuff happens in the world. And I feel like that was just like pre-science. That was before like we understood how things work, like how, even like the universe works and all that. So I think it's just like people just didn't lack the knowledge at that time. So I feel like that's just kind of, they use kind of like their, I'd say imagination. They use their imagination. Like, a lot of polytheistic religions like have like multiple gods, and then Christians came and ruined everything.
Like they do. That's what they're known for.
Kind of to your point, science does the how, but it does none of the lifting on the why. So it's like that's like a philosophical, religious question. It's like, why do things work is a very different thing than how do things work,
Yeah, and science always changes. Like we may like think, like you study in school how this this certain thing happens or whatever, and then it changes years later. Like we're always like learning, and I think that's like the thing about science. And I feel like religion kind of holds us back from that. It's kind of like, no, this is the way it is. We don't want to learn anything else,
and we don't want you to question it.
Right. And it's funny, academic science has done it's like kind of come full circle, right? Like academic science has become unscientific, where it's just like trust the science is a non-scientific statement,
Yeah.
But this has become religion, where it's like, well, if the scientists said it, don't question that,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that sounds like a pastor.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just why it's good that everyone should have a right to like, challenge anybody's research.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too. And I think that's kind of like the big thing coming back to like religion, like people don't want to question, but with science you can question. You can be like, well, actually I have a different opinion based on this.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
And I think you absolutely should also like do your own research on things. Don't just, I mean, I don't think anyone has any faith in institution anymore for good reason. It's like, I mean, I don't know anyone that's like, you know what? I think that they're telling us the truth and we can trust them. Like, I don't think I know anyone like that, actually.
I had grappled a long time with religion and stuff. Like, like we've talked extensively that I grew up in church, and like my early 20s, I still wanted to cling to that. There was part of me that was like, that wanted that to be real and some sort of foundation to hold on to. But the more I thought about it, the more, and like the deeper I went down the rabbit holes, I sort of like eventually came to terms with my agnosticism. And I think that's part of what like IDC is about, is just like letting that go and not caring about any of that anymore, and not caring about necessarily being a good person or doing things that I do or don't want to do. Like I just came to terms. I'm like, I'm going to live my life and do whatever I want to do. And if somebody has an opinion about it, they can have that. That's fun.
I'm realizing we have a lot's happened since the last time we really like got into it. I've actually like come full circle and am finding faith again, oddly enough. After like 10 years of really not doing that. But I've been talking about this a lot on here recently, so we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I'm very
I don't want to
curious.
repeat myself too much on here, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting. I think that it's a different, I don't know, is a very different thing than I don't care. That's a different statement.
I think it started with I don't know.
I understand what you're saying though. The apathetic, or what'd you call it? Apathetic
acceptance. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the way you put that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that term, or those together.
Yeah.
There's another song on the album that is like sort of like where it's written about sort of my existential crisis and like having all of these ideas and it going kind of like driving me fucking crazy. It's called Feeling or Meaning. It says, I can't tell what I'm feeling and I can't find the meaning. And the more I learn, it's seeming that I'm not supposed to, and I don't know what to do with that. Where are all the answers at? Tell me.
Yeah.
Like, and it goes on, there's like this kind of long spiel about, you know, like it eventually talks about like, you know, like we're given all of this shit with nothing with substance, a billion books, but nothing but nonsense. How could we ever be expected to follow one? What kind of God would do that? A hollow one.
Bars. Yeah, it's funny. That's very angst. And
yeah, I was pissed off about it.
Yeah, well, I feel you. I definitely like have related to those things you're espousing. And it's funny because like it's angsty, but it also, this kind of relates to the type of music you're making as well, which is also a throwback. You know, like it's that adolescent teen angst, but also that is what the music you're making is reminiscent of a simpler time that like we all kind of came up in, you know? Like,
yeah, it's definitely heavily influenced by the stuff I was listening to when I was a teenager. For sure.
It's cool to see people making that kind of music still.
Because I say I listened to it as a teenager. Well, I also never stopped. I think a lot of us are like that. You know,
for sure.
Like, the best music to us, and I feel like, you know, that's every generation. That's everybody that grows up is like, your favorite kind of music is usually the music you listen to when you were growing up, like your formative years.
For sure. Yeah.
You even see in that music scene too, like they even had this past weekend, they had like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater night at the Basement East. And so it's just kind of like we grew up playing those video games, and that's kind of cool, like how Nashville is like, you know, it's becoming more popular. Like they have that. They have emo nights. There's
emo has blown up.
Yeah, it's like the cool
again,
thing now.
You know,
funny how
because we're all 30.
Emo is dad rock now. Think about that.
Pretty much.
No, I have.
No, I mean, I'm right there with you guys though. Like, I love that shit.
Yeah. That's fine. My 16-year-old daughter hates it. She's not.
What
like
does she listen to?
She does like some like heavy stuff. Like she likes Korn a lot, and Slipknot and stuff. But mostly what she listens to is what I would say is modern pop. She does not like the like pop punk emo voice. Like if they sound like Tom DeLonge at all from Blink-182, you know what I mean?
I guess that makes sense because you're an emo.
She hates it.
You're an emo vocalist and you're her dad, so that totally, it's counterculture. That's what I mean when I'd say the stuff you're saying, like your lyrical content is angsty. It's rebellious. It's it is a response to your upbringing and to the world that you came up in. So it absolutely makes sense that if that your daughter wouldn't like emo music because that's what her dad does, right? Like that is a rite of passage. That's a coming of age thing. Yeah. You know.
Fortunately, she likes my stuff. At least she says she does. But I don't have as much of that like emo whiny kind of voice, so she can get down with it. But if it's like emo whiny,
I feel like you have like you have a mix of influences together.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you have like the metalcore influence, you have like the emo influence, you have like the hard rock influence. Like you kind of like have created your own voice with those different influences.
With combination.
Yeah.
I think I get likened most to Chester Bennington.
That
anybody I get compared to.
Oh yeah,
most.
That's how when I heard "Feeling Our Meaning" for the first time, I felt like this is a very Linkin Park kind of like sounding song. So I was trying to come up with drum parts for it before we have the final product. I was just like thinking like, what would Linkin Park do with this song?
And what you did sounds perfect because it has like the rap verses.
Yeah, so it's like you play like kind of like the backbeat kind of thing. And it just gets like it has like those like like heavy like vocal parts like Chester does like with like the loud like the very like how his voice just carried with like his screaming was like incredible, like just the belting of his voice. And that was amazing about Chester Bennington, how he can just sing so beautifully and clean, and then he has like that crazy scream that he was able to do. Like it was incredible to hear that someone be able to like physically do something like that.
Yeah, it was a huge influence on me. I was like, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I had actually started screaming until 2020. I had sang for as long as I can remember, but like screaming was a new adventure for me. I'd always liked the music, like screaming music, but was just never able to do it. Like I had known that there were techniques to do it without hurting your voice, but I couldn't do it without like just physically assaulting my vocal cords.
Yeah.
So it was like 2020. Hey, nothing else is going on, right? I'm gonna figure this shit out. And me and Steven started playing together, and was like, "What for this like project? I want to do screaming stuff, so I'm gonna learn." And it was actually pretty frustrating because I'm normally a pretty quick learner. Like if there's something I can learn it pretty quickly. But with screaming, it's something that you have to develop. It's not really you just learn how to do it. It's like you really have to build up your voice to be able to do it because you're essentially using parts of your voice that have been dormant since you were a baby. Because that's why babies can scream all day and it doesn't blow out their voice. It's because they're doing that same technique. So when people learn how to scream, particularly vocal fry screams, which is what I do a lot, you're like undormanting that part of your voice. I don't know if that's a word, but
interesting.
Yeah, so like a baby screams, wah, wah. Then that sounds similar to wah. It's like a similar thing.
It's almost like you're reactivating.
It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, you're reactivating that.
Activate baby mode.
Yeah, that part of your voice that's been dormant for years. You have to like develop that. You can't just learn how to do it. You have to like practice and all this kind of stuff. So it was a frustrating process for me, but I got there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I felt good about it.
That's kind of odd to me that you just started doing that a few years ago. I guess that's 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Now,
okay.
Like in that.
Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
Right? 2020 does, like, when you think about it, it's like, oh, that was only like a couple of years ago. I was in 6 years now.
I know, it feels like just a year ago. It doesn't feel like that happened that long ago.
So yeah, I've come a long way in the 6 years. I feel really good about it. I was even telling them earlier, because we came over here from band rehearsal. And I was like, I haven't warmed up yet. I was like, but it's fine. But used to, I could not access that scream unless I warmed up. But now I can just go right into it. It's like I'm like, after 6 years, it's fully developed and I'm good. But yeah, it was a pain in the ass of a process. I'll tell you
that. What other projects are you currently doing? You said Carrot, and you do a lot of the cover shows as well.
Yeah, I've done those a bunch. I'm kind of like not doing them as much as I was, just because I feel like it's a lot of the same format where it's just like you sign up for like top 5 songs you want to do, and then like you basically like learn them on your own, and like sometimes people will get together with a rehearsal outside of it, or I've done shows where it's like you show up and you better just know your part. But I think they're great especially if you're new to town, just to kind of meet people and really get into the scene. But since then, I do play in other projects. Like I play, besides like metal, I play with like a country rock music guy named Caleb Shear and the Fender Benders.
Caleb Shear and the Fender Benders.
Yeah, like
what a name.
If I describe Caleb, he looks like every country guy. He's like big guy with a beard and a cowboy hat.
Hell yeah.
Reminds me of Chris Jackson and the Reach Arounds. That was the
So
original name of All the Tension, but
so
the guys didn't go for
but
it.
yeah, so he's a lot of fun.
You still play with Lucy?
So and I played with another group called Panda Forces for a little bit.
Okay.
That band's no longer really active, and then and then Lucy did a solo EP that I recorded with her at the bomb shelter last summer. Actually, 2 summers ago. Yeah. And that's out now on Spotify. You can check that out. Like she's got a very kind of like Courtney Love. It's very Courtney Love, like 90s.
What's the name of how do people find it on Spotify? What was it?
I think it's just under Lucy Claire.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't recall like what the title of her EP was, but I played.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, but I played drums on that. And then last year I had a really good year. I did some fill-in work I did few one-off gigs with this girl named Lalani Kilgore. She's like she's like a really badass.
I don't know her super well, but I know John pretty well.
Yeah, John Weiscarver.
Yeah.
So I filled in like for their regular drummer David, because he was kind of in a transition period where him and his wife moved to Connecticut, and then the band got a house in Nashville, and he was kind of going back and forth. So I do like a lot of one-offs, and I was honored. She asked me to play like her Al Malise show at the Underdog last year, and that was really cool. And I've known her since I moved to Nashville, so it was like kind of like a full circle of like, we've been friends for a long time, and I finally got to play with her. So yeah, I do a lot of freelancing stuff besides like the regular bands. So it's like and it's also like a fun challenge too, because like I've gotten calls to like do like a weekend run or like stuff in town. And it's like the gigs like maybe like a week or two, and then you only get like 1 or 2 rehearsals. So that's also been like a way to kind of teach my brain how to process the music, how to learn it, and how to like be ready for the gig. So I've been doing a lot of that, but I'm kind of going through like a transition year right now. Like my wife and I have to move out of our house, so we're looking at different places to live. So I'm kind of taming down on the gigs I've been taking, and then some of the groups like Panda Forces, and some other people that I played with have kind of fizzled out. And that's just kind of like how Nashville is. It's like no gig is guaranteed. Like bands disband, you may get fired, or they may just go a different direction with like another drummer. That's just kind of like the risk of doing music, especially being a musician for a living.
Sure. Yeah. It sounds like you're like a pretty versatile drummer and can do a bunch of different stuff. And I'm sure you were kind of saying with All the Tension, it's a way to broaden your horizons and get used to doing different stuff. And I'm sure that's like a really useful school skill set to have.
Yeah, and it's definitely also like nervous too. I kind of feel like Carrot, like the very first couple of shows for me were kind of a little bit not my best, just because I feel like I was like still pretty new to getting better at metal, because I've listened to like heavy music like for a long time. Like even we were talking about Linkin Park, like I burnt through the first two. We used to have CDs like on the school bus. I would just listen to Hypertheory like front to back. Like I always like really liked heavy music, but like this is like being in Nashville right now is weird. I kind of like have gotten more to actually playing it, and like Carrot's been like a good band for me to like get better. It's kind of like kicked my ass in like a really, really good way, and it's helped me be a better musician and stay humble. And so I'm excited. I'm glad that Kris asked me to play, and it's been like, a lot of fun and also a challenge. I think that's how you get better. You got to challenge yourself, even
push the boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew you were a good drummer. I knew you could handle it. When I saw you play with Carrot, I was like, Tyler can do this.
Yeah.
And you're always a good hang. Like,
yeah.
Even if you suck at the drums, then if you're a good hang, then that's cool. But you were good at that too. So
yeah.
I was happy to bring you. I'm glad you said yes.
Yeah. Well, I am too.
Yeah.
Did you grow up religiously?
Well, I consider myself a recovering Catholic. But my dad went to Catholic school all his life, and then my mom like went through mostly public school, but she also went to like church, I believe. And they put me in Catholic school for like kindergarten and first grade. Didn't really work out, and I got put in the public school, and then I don't know if you guys ever did like CCD. It's like kind of like it's like basically like just like religious classes like outside of school. to go through kind of like the process of becoming a Catholic. So it's just kind of like you learn just about like being Catholic and going through like the steps, like doing like your first confession, doing like your first communion, and then like the final step is being confirmed. And so like I think that was like really important to my parents that I went through the process, but I think for me, I had a hard time like really connecting to it because I just felt like the classes were like, okay, you have to learn these prayers, you have to memorize them and you have to like recite them, and then you have to go through like this like ritual of, you know, being confirmation or like your first confession or communion, and then you're Catholic. It's just kind of like I don't really understand like why am I doing this kind of thing. I kind of felt like I did it to make my parents happy, not myself kind of happy. So I don't know. I never really grew up like super religious. I kind of felt like I'm a kind of a people pleaser. I just did it to make because that's what my parents wanted me to do.
Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago in a suburb called New Lenox. It's about an hour south of the city. And for people that don't know where New Lenox is, it's adjacent to another famous suburb called Joliet. Like you probably have, if you're the Blues Brothers fan, like that's where John Belushi got out of prison. That's the Joliet State Prison in that movie. There's a sports movie called Rudy that takes place in Joliet. So it was just like a suburban town that I grew up in, like really good schools. A lot of I have some family friends that still live there. A lot of my family is based around the Chicago area. So it was a really good growing up experience living there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Was Rudy with Cuba Gooding Jr.? Isn't it that movie?
It's
like
that guy that goes to
football
Notre
player.
Dame. He plays for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That movie.
Yeah.
That
All
takes
right, I've seen it. It was a long time ago.
That takes place in Joliet, where he's from. That's like 15 minutes away from where I'm from.
Gotcha.
Did you move here for music?
Yeah. So I went to music school in Decatur, Illinois, and that's like
Decatur.
Decatur.
I hardly know her.
We also call it the Dirty D. But it's like a halfway point between Chicago and St. Louis. They're about like it's like 2.5 hours, and it's also pretty close to like Champaign, Illinois, where like U of I is. And so the school I went to is called Millikan, and I got my music business degree from there. And while I was there, we had like these things called music business seminars where they'd have like alumni or like our teachers knew people that were in the industry that were producers or like, managers for bands and artists, and they would come talk to us about what they're doing. And most of the people that came were involved in the Nashville scene. And it just kind of was like, okay, well, if I want to have a career and a job in this field, I got to go to Nashville. So I graduated in 2016, and then a month after I graduated, I just moved down here. So I was like, I want to do this. I'm not wasting any time.
Yeah.
And actually, this month's I've been here for 10 years, so I made it to the 10-year plan.
Yeah, you're 10
You're
years.
basically, you're a local now. You're
Yeah.
tenured Nashvilleian.
So I made it to the 10-year town vibe. But it's been great. It's been a great decade. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but I'm happy with where I'm at. Like I'm doing what I went to school for, and I think that's a big accomplishment for myself.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's cool. So something we do on the show, something I ask everyone is if they have any like supernatural stories. No is that's a great answer actually, but no answer is a bad answer. Do you have any ghost stories, for lack of a better word?
I'd say like I'm pissed that I don't have any. I feel like ghosts don't like me.
I didn't until I started getting into like went looking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd
say like the only ghost story I would say is like I have been told like my grandfather, like my mom's dad, is my guardian angel. And I had like a psychic tell me that one time. And then there's another funny story. So I was at like a friend of mine's house. He had like a bonfire and some people over, and like his friend's girlfriend's friend, just so you guys get like the lineup. she apparently does a living where she can talk to angels. And she just like looked at me and she was like, your grandfather's right behind you.
Whoa.
And um and she said like he was a very like he knew she was able to say that he was in the military, which was true. Um
Hmm.
and just like saying that he was like a very, protective person. And so I thought that was really interesting to hear from two different people to say that.
Yeah, it's like she was oddly right about some stuff.
Yeah.
And you can kind of say coincidence, but it's odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just feel like I'm a lucky person. Like I feel like there's been some things where someone is patting me on the back. Like I like just even for example, we were talking about COVID, like I was in between jobs and I was temping for my current job, which is I work in music licensing for Universal Music for their publishing. And I was a temp at the time, and I was like interviewing for like regular positions there, and then the job I have now came up, and I got hired November of 2019, like right before COVID hits, and like so it's like I got the job, benefits rolled in, I was able to ride out the pandemic, no problem, just working
Nice.
from home. So it's just stuff like that. It's just like that's why I kind of feel like maybe there is something to what they're saying
Mm.
that he is like someone that is protective because I feel like that is a very, I feel like that's like something like someone that's like a guardian to want to do for you. Like, like you're gonna be okay, Ty. You're not gonna be, you know, uh struggling financially. It's gonna be fine. And so just stuff like that, just life things like that I've noticed throughout time.
Did you have any other grandkids?
I was the only one. Like he sadly,
Okay. I didn't know if there was any he's neglecting because he's
no,
Because he's so fixated on
he's
you.
so fixated on
it's
you.
weird. My mom was an only my mom was an only child, and I'm an only child. And
Huh.
yeah, I sadly
That's
didn't.
why he focuses all of his attention on you.
Yeah. So
Fuck your mom, I guess.
but
He's looking after you.
but yeah. Unfortunately, I never got to really. I only grew up with my mom's mom, my grandma, um, and like her dad, my grandfather. He unfortunately passed away when I was like 5 years old of a stroke. I didn't get to know any of my grandfathers, which it's unfortunate and stuff like that. But my grandmother, she unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. But she was like a second mom. She was a really great lady. Like my mom was an ER nurse, and she would always like make me dinner every night, or take me to school, or take me to extracurricular activities of whatever I was doing, sports, music, you name it. She was there.
I bet she's got some ghost stories. Being an ER nurse, I bet she's got some
Oh,
wild
yeah.
stories.
Oh yeah, she does. Like she is like someone that would always have to deal with someone crazy or because ER is no joke. Like people go in there for anything. I mean, she has told me where she's had to like kick like a knife off a homeless guy's hand because he was about to pull it on her and things,
Oh, shit.
and things like that, or just
Damn.
or people just trying to like fake like they have something wrong with them just to get like free medication and
right.
things like that. So it's
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, you're like, actually,
I guess
Huh.
I guess she had like one funny story where this guy came in and he said he had a toothache and he pulls out his hand, it's like a shark tooth. And he's like, so I'm not gonna get any medication. He's like, so I'm not gonna get any medication. My mom's like, I don't think so.
Pulls out a shark tooth.
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely look, it's so painful. It's in my hand.
That's awesome. What do you think about? Do you think extraterrestrials have been here?
Um, I think so. I think it's definitely possible. I don't think we're alone. I think that's my belief. I personally, my belief is if we can exist, why can't another society exist? But
yeah, I used to ask people if they believe in extraterrestrials, and I stopped doing that because it seems like, I mean, we've done over 250 of these, and unanimously, it's like, well, it's a statistical impossibility for there not to be life out there somewhere. So it's like I try to narrow the focus. Do you think they either in the past or in the present have interacted with Earth?
I've always thought it was a fun theory that like we were brought here from one of those.
Yeah, like the like life was seeded here, something like that.
I always kind of think of the South Park episode where it turns out Earth is a giant TV show. And they're like, yeah, we brought people from different planets and watched them fight each other.
That's funny.
I had this conversation with my daughter the other day because she got really sunburnt, and she was like, I don't know, just like bitching about that, and because it sucks, like getting sunburnt. And I was like, it kind of reminds me of the whole like theory about like that's why we're allergic to everything, and we can't stand to be in the sun, even though we've been here forever.
Even the level in which we're bipedal is not. Okay, so evolution would say the reason we're bipedal is so we can reach higher branches, right? But I mean, chimps don't really have a problem climbing trees.
Yeah,
like,
and they're not really.
They're not exact. They're a little bit more hunched over, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are like extremely exposed. Like this is the underbelly. It's like that's the most vulnerable part, and that's like to stand erect is like really you have no predators at that point. And so if we did evolve that way without some kind of missing link or other explanation, it's like, I don't know. I suppose that's possible. It's just, that's a long time of standing upright and not getting taken out. But I mean, I guess thumbs and intellect make up for that. So
it does. There's a lot that seems like a really interesting or weird path for evolution to go down.
Yeah.
Like, why did you?
Well, a lot of like what we're doing right now, like this whole philosophy rhetoric stuff does not put food on the table. It doesn't secure resources. So it's like, if this is evolution, there's not an evolutionary reason for that to have happened.
Yeah, I actually saw, so have you ever heard the YouTube channel Aperture?
Mm-mm.
It's really interesting. It like delves into different topics. And one of them that I watched recently was like that consciousness is an example of evolution going too far. And one example is like an elk that grew bigger, what do you call them? Horns, antlers.
Yeah.
And there was like a species of elk that grew big antlers, so it was very dominant. But then they got too big for it to like really be functional anymore, and that species of elk ended up going extinct.
That's a really good metaphor for consciousness.
Yes, and then, so it was talking about how consciousness was beneficial, but it's gone too far to where we like question our own existence and all this kind of stuff.
And what you just gave is an example of evolution going too far and then having to step back. So maybe that does account for consciousness.
Yeah, maybe that's why we're getting dumber. We're having to.
It's actually a good
as a
thing.
species, right? It's a good thing. We shouldn't be so smart because it's not good for you to sit there and ponder the pain and existence of life.
That's got me thinking about. I'm sure you guys have. This is probably not a concept you're just hearing for the first time about like society reaching points and then collapsing, like with technology. Maybe that's what we're looking at, is we've gotten to a point where it no longer serves us. So it's going to regrade until it builds up again. And this is sort of cyclical, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe we have the machines think for us so we can be dumber.
Yeah. And that works for a time. And then something happens. And then we have some great reset, either intentional third party alien thing or
AI.
Or we just do it to ourselves. We get so smart that we become stupid and then kill ourselves off.
Yeah, it'll all be fine one way or the other. We'll live or we won't.
Yeah.
Have you heard of another video from that channel is talking about quantum immortality? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Idea? It's the idea that your consciousness always goes down the path where you survive. So like that's why you're still alive.
So you like jump timelines. Like there's
like
when you have a
never
near-death experience, there was a version of you that died, but you're the
you
one
didn't
that
go
survives.
down that path.
Yeah.
Right. Because your consciousness is always going to go down the path where you survive. And it's like, okay, well, how does that doesn't really explain why people die. Like people do still die. And that's not sustainable. You can't just live forever.
This is sort of
but it's an interesting thought experiment.
Well, what I'm hearing, and this is the first time I've heard this, but like that's like a solipsistic thing. So it's only that's only talking about your lived experience. So other people could die in your timeline.
Yeah.
But you will
You would
be the
still
one that
carry it
survives,
forward.
basically.
Yeah.
Like you jump to a timeline where you don't do that.
Yeah, not to say that everyone is an NPC, but like to you, everyone else is NPCs. So like you always go down the path where you live. I don't know, I
Interesting
just thought it
idea.
was an interesting thought experiment.
That is
I'm like, I don't
interesting.
know that I put much stock into it, but I'm like, through all this stupid shit I've done, that could explain why I'm still alive. Is quantum immortality.
That Akashic record stuff you sent me the other day, I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah, so like
There's
I
a
saw
more
that video and
specific
I couldn't
word for
help
it.
but think about the Akashic record. I
Yeah.
was like, this feels like that's coming from the same place.
Yeah, this idea of information being passed down not only through epigenetics, but also it just seems like a species unlocks information when one of the species figures something out. It's like not just the generations after them understand this, but unrelated, they also understand this.
Yeah,
It's an interesting
like throughout
idea.
the world, like everybody of the same species. They called it the morphic field or morphic resonance or something like that.
Yeah, morphic resonance. That's it. I mean, there's
and I was like, when I saw that, I thought, I was like, this is like that Akashic record thing that you were talking about. Because if there was a field that had all of the information, I feel like that's where it would come from. It was just like very interesting to me.
Yeah. There's certain things he said that I'm skeptical about in that video, but it definitely is interesting, and I'd like to look into that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life
is
Tyler
weird.
Unfortunately has no idea what the hell we're talking about.
I mean, I'm just saying here for the conversation.
Yeah. Maybe
Tyler's here for the chilada.
with a very rudimentary and not really explaining it that well thing. They've done experiments with rats where they teach rats to do something, and then later generations will figure it out faster.
Okay.
But what they've also found is that rats that are not of the same line also understand it better than rats from previous generations, even though they're not related.
Yeah, they like did the same experiment on like the other side of the world, and the rats still performed it faster, even though they had no relation to the rats that went through the experiment.
Can it be like kind of?
And so it's as if they like learned it from this like some sort of field. That's why they're talking about the morphic resonance.
It's like information is passed down somehow, not even just genetically.
And they found the same thing to be true with humans. Like, for example, like a daily crossword puzzle. People solve it faster in the afternoons after more people have done it. And they had some other examples, but it was just interesting because Alex had told me about this thing called the Akashic record before, which I had no idea about. And that the thought of that had stuck with me. And then so when I watched that video, I was like, this feels like that's where it would be coming from. Yeah. So will you explain?
Akashic record is this idea of a library of all past, present, and future information in a vacuum that hypothetically could be tapped into.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the video game Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That's kind of how what Assassin's Creed is, because like it's basically there's this machine where you can basically take someone's like a life, like any period of time, and you hop in the machine, you live it.
Yeah, it is very similar.
It's kind of like that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it is a lot like that. I forgot about like the sort of B story to that, like the overall story to that series.
Yeah,
that is an interesting idea.
And what's funny about that, in that video game also kind of taps into like, talking about how like if there's extraterrestrial or like does life repeat itself? That's kind of like that's what Assassin's Creed does. Like it shows that there was an advanced human society, and then it all collapsed, and then it just like recycled, like humanity like came back, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, and I thought that's kind of interesting. Like there's even like a good documentary on Netflix called Ancient Apocalypse you should check out. It's basically about it's about
Graham. What's his
was that Graham Hancock's one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I love him.
You should watch that.
Okay,
because
cool.
that really because his
If you like him.
theory is like
It's
humans
really
have been around longer than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
aware of like a lot of the podcasts he's done, and I'm aware that exists. I just haven't seen it. Thanks for reminding me
I
of
think
that.
you would really like that.
Yeah,
Because that really comes into play with this conversation.
sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You still rocking that chilada? You need another.
Oh, I'm still rocking it. I'm nursing it. I'm
Yeah,
enjoying the flavor.
Chilada's actually sponsoring the podcast. Today. I don't know if you know. But
Gelada's sponsoring the podcast. Malort is sponsoring all the tension.
Yeah.
They're
They just don't
sponsoring
know
our
it
whole
yet.
band. They don't know.
I
But
mean, Bergman and I gotta get
they
handled.
should pay me. I'm like their biggest fucking spokesperson in Nashville. For sure.
I've been thinking about just reaching out to companies that like local companies that I actually could have access to.
Yeah.
And just being like, hey, just I'm gonna say that you sponsor us. You don't have to give us anything. Just
Yeah, just
make it
cool
look like
thing
you have a
to
little
do.
more movement going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. Like you don't even have to pay me. But just let me
Yeah.
put your name on our shit.
Let me promote you.
Yeah. No,
I would only
that's
do
not
that
a
with
bad
a
idea.
business that like I actually fuck with, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Tell them why why you're drinking chilada.
Oh, it's kind of a funny story. So we Kris and I had like a writing session, like a band rehearsal or something, and I offered them drinks, and it was after my mom like visited, and she brought up like a bunch of stuff that had like gelato in it because she's obsessed with like when brands do the same thing. And so I went to grab Kris a beer, and I saw Modelo, and I was like, rather Modelo, and then I gave it to Kris, and he puts it down, just like, what's with this beer?
What is this abomination that you just gave me?
And then
It tastes like tomato soup that you poured beer in.
My uncle used to like those. Not the
Fermented
Modelo one, but
tomato soup.
the canned gelato stuff.
God,
Yeah.
who drinks that? Who is this for? I was like, I don't know. I was like, this is fucking god awful.
I feel like it's
Here you go,
coastal
Chilada.
or like New Orleans kind of thing. Like if you like seafood.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I do.
it's like that or Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
It's a really like pure Bloody Mary thing. You might like
Tomato
it.
and lime with salt.
My
God.
uncle used to drink chilada and he liked oysters.
Okay.
That's a
yeah.
pairing.
I could
If
see
I've
that
ever heard
being a
one.
thing.
I've never tried raw oysters. I've always wanted
Hmm.
to. I've kind of been scared to.
But yeah,
honestly.
ever since that rehearsal, it's been a running joke. He actually has one in his fridge right
Yes,
now.
I have one
that's
in the mini fridge,
waiting
just
for me to-
Kris.
waiting for me to drink it.
It's I always bring it. I'm like, hey, I haven't.
I still got that
gelato that you gotta
Oh,
finish.
So I told Tyler, I was like, I'm going to stop and get some beer for this podcast. And I went in there, and sure enough, they've got the tall boy gelato. I was like, oh, do you know what, Tyler? You're getting that.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna
If
bring.
he refused to drink it, I was going to make Alex drink it. So he saved you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Fucking chilada.
He's lucky I got a diverse palate.
A little while back, they some fucking company made an oyster stout. It's like a fucking beer. It's like oyster flavored or some shit. I was like, that sounds awful. I have to try it. And I got it, and it honestly wasn't bad. It was just like to me, it tasted kind of like a normal stout with just like this kind of like briny, like kind of saltiness to it. It was actually kind of nice. Like think like a salted caramel. You know how like that can.
You've shown me a lot of weird beer.
Mhm.
Like that, was it JB? What's it called? The PBJ one?
PB&J mixtape. Oh my god.
That's like actually really good though.
God, I love that shit.
Yeah.
There's a liquor store in Mount Juliet in Providence, and they sell. You can get a crowler of the PB&J mixtape.
Oh wow.
What's
I
a
go
growler?
there. It's like a growler, but it's in a can.
What's
Growler.
a growler?
It's like there's a thing like you can go to some like breweries, and they'll just like give you a big container. That's what a growler is.
Oh.
Of like a specific beer that's on tap. And then crowlers is like the same thing, but it's in a can.
Oh.
And so they pour it in a can, and then they have like a machine to like seal it and everything for you.
Nice.
And so I get a crowler of it from there from time to time because
Nice.
I love that shit. And then there's a few places around town that sell it like up down. I think that's where we had it.
Yeah.
Um,
It straight up tastes like PB&J in the weirdest way.
so goddamn good.
That's like
you can
advanced
even
science.
taste like the bread. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you
not
can
just
always
the peanut
taste the
butter and
bread with
jelly.
beer.
Right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They like fucking nailed the flavor. And they're out of Knoxville.
Oh,
The
okay.
company, yeah.
That's cool.
I'm actually going to Knoxville for work next week. So I'm like, I'm gonna stop by there and see if I can get like a 6-pack or something. Because nowhere around the guy that at the brewery or that I buy it from, the crowler from, he was telling me that nowhere sells a 6-pack of it. You can't get it anywhere. They only sell like 6-packs or what have you at the brewery in Knoxville.
Wow.
I was like, that's fucking bullshit. Because I want to give you my money. Take it.
Maybe you can order it online or something.
Maybe so. But yeah, I love that shit. So good. Way better than Chelada.
You're just kind of a pussy.
I mean, yeah.
I have a new thing I've been asking people. I haven't asked you this yet, Kris.
Okay.
Do you have any gross or scary stories involving insects or spiders? Because man, I've been asking people this, and I was like, oh, this is a treasure trove I wasn't aware of.
Interesting. I can't think of anything. So I actually, two things. First of all, I used to work for AT&T. I did like the installs at people's houses, and I had to get real comfortable with bugs, insects, spiders, the whole nine. I remember the first time, dude, I was like fucking Ray Charles in there. I had a stick when I had to go to the crawl space, and I'm just like doing this. Come to find out, like in crawl spaces and stuff, they hang out around the entrance. They're not really spiders? Inside. Yeah.
Okay.
They're not really like, once you get in there, you're like you're pretty clear. So when you open it, there'll be some spiders around, but you just like shake a stick around there, they'll like flee, and then you go in and you're good. That's not that big of a deal. So I actually got really comfortable with spiders. I used to like, oh, they like terrified me, but I got real comfortable with them having to do that job. Not too bad. But one time I went to a crawl space. It was kind of interesting. Maybe my grandfather was looking out for me at this time, because we were looking around talking. And most of the time, if I decided I was going to go in the crawl space for a job, I didn't pre-inspect, though they do recommend that. Normally I just drill a hole, put the cable down in there, and then I go in the crawl space and get it. But something told me, they were like, check out the crawl space first. Because we were walking around and I saw it, and I was like, I'm going to go in there really quick. So I went down in there and was looking, and I'm like crawling through, and these two heads poke up. It's two snakes.
Oh, geez.
Like looking at me. They're like, the fuck? Who the fuck? What you doing in here? And I was like, I like scooted back and got out of there so fast. I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I didn't drill a hole in his fucking house first. Because then I would have had to complete the job. I can't just leave a hole in his house. But yeah, that I know that's not a bug.
But growing up in Tennessee, some bugs, animals of different kinds is like, yeah, it seems like everyone has like an encounter with wildlife.
So that scared the shit out of me. The other story I have isn't scary. It's kind of funny. I was in church camp when I was like growing up, and we were outside. You grew up in
Pigeon Forge, which is very dense.
Yes.
Very dense.
Yes. Part of my history is in Pigeon Forge. The other part is in like rural Mississippi. And so this was the Mississippi time. We were outside looking around, and we found this fucking grasshopper who was like laying on its back, and a bunch of ants were like attacking it and like eating it. And it was grabbing the ants and eating them. It was just like doing whatever it could to fight them off. And we're just sitting there staring at it. And it's like this epic battle between this grasshopper and a bunch of ants.
Whoa. Wow.
And just like a bug's life, I have this thought, like, like a million ants is going to beat the one grasshopper. Yeah. It lost the battle. It was trying, and it was literally shoveling ants in its mouth, because it's all it could do is to eat the ants.
And it couldn't eat them fast enough.
No, they got them.
Oh my God.
Because there was a ton of them. But it was trying. And that was like, I don't know. That was That was a scene to behold.
Wow.
I don't know. That stuck with me. I still think about that grasshopper sometimes.
You ever seen a red velvet ant?
A red velvet ant? Sounds delicious.
Is it cake?
I love red velvet. Is it cake? Slice into it.
They're actually wasps.
Oops.
They're ground wasps. They're wasps that don't have wings and they're parasitic.
What?
They lay their eggs inside of other things' eggs.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What?
And they are this big, bright
Wow.
red. And the first time I ever saw one, I was tripping my fucking balls off. And Cordy was like, "Did you see that bug? It was huge." And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And then I saw it and I'm like, "Oh my God, you really downplayed." She's like, "I told you it was huge." I'm like, "Yeah, you did not have an appropriate reaction to that. What the fuck is that?"
Oh, wow.
And I started looking into it. Like I just like Google it and it's like, okay, this is called red velvet ant. They are immune to being crushed. Their exoskeletons are so strong that like one stomp is not going to do it. You have to like stomp and
That's kind
turn.
of terrifying.
Like you gotta really make sure that that's dead. It has an extremely painful bite. And they're here. They're around the area. But first time I saw one, I'm like, that is a monster. That is an absolute killing machine.
Wow.
Anyway, you have
Wow.
any insect or animal stories?
Animal stories. I guess like I don't know, most recent like my wife and I like we like to hang out on the porch and like have like a joint just to kind of enjoy. And then there's like sometimes we have like we have like an empty lot next to our house and we see like a wildlife. And there's this one time where I'm just sitting there kind of stoned and this possum just comes out of nowhere up the stairs and scares the fucking shit out of me. So it's just like kind of just like I wasn't expecting it kind of thing. And then I'll even see like skunks too once in a while. Like I'll be afraid to get out of my car because I literally see them like run down the alleyway. But Tennessee does have like a lot of wildlife. That's really cool.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what have y'all been listening to like the last month or two?
Good question. You ever heard of the band Point North?
No.
They're like a modern pop punk band, but they like randomly got like a lot heavier, and they came out with a song called 2 Liter Spite. It was like 2 Liter Sprite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 2 Liter Spite. And goddamn, does it fucking scratch an itch for me. I love that fucking song. And I liked them before, but like I'm loving this like heavier direction they've like gone down. I was like, okay, man. So I've been listening to them quite a bit. Who else? As well as like just the same old shit that I've listened to for years.
Always.
But that's like, I'd say that's one artist that stands out that I've been listening to a lot lately.
Have you heard the new AFI album came out?
Yeah, I recently saw that. I saw them when they were in town.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet they played some new stuff because the new album came out
Marathon, yeah.
like I say new, but it was like late last year.
Yeah.
It's pretty new. So I, liking emo stuff from back in the day, I loved AFI. I don't remember if I touched on this earlier, but I really don't like 80s music. Really that much at all.
And the new album is very 80s.
It sounds 80s. So you can imagine
You're disappointed.
me listening to it and I'm like, what have you done?
It's definitely
What are
more
we doing?
80s, that industrial kind of thing than the stuff I'm used to hearing them do.
Yeah. They're yes. They've
Vastly
turned into
different.
like a dark wave, whatever punk.
I liked
80s.
it, but I understand what you're saying because it's not what you
hated
expect from AFI.
Also, their
I
singer-
tried. I was like, maybe there's got to be some AFI
No.
in here.
Nope.
No,
And
they're
there's-
just whatever they are now.
And their singer just looks like he came out of the time machine in the 70s.
Mhm.
I'm like, he does not look like like early 2000s. He was like part of like what it was like emo, like the emo thing.
Yeah.
The pale skin, like the flip down long bangs, and now he looks like he's just like this like jacked like he plays for Thin Lizzy or something like that. He looks completely different.
Yeah, totally different. Yeah.
But man, my wife and some of her girlfriends are going nuts for him. Like, they're like, oh my God, he's so hot. Like they were into it.
They like it.
I like the new record.
Yeah.
And I actually, it got me thinking, like I went back and looked at older AFI stuff because of this has got me interested. Like, what is this transformation, And they were actually doing heavier, more punk stuff in the late 90s. And then the stuff that I know them for, like Miss Murder, was the commercial success that the label's like, hey, you're going to do an emo album.
Yeah, they're like, this is what's popping.
This is what, and that's, I mean, that's what everyone knows them for, but that's not even really how they started. They were doing, I mean, and what they're doing now is different from how also from the original stuff they were doing.
Because they were super pop punk, weren't they? They were super punk.
They were,
yeah,
they got to emo.
Super, I would say punk, like straight heavy punk.
Yeah.
Because I listened
when
to
they first came out.
Because like I'll sometimes just like listen to an artist on Spotify, you know, like somehow it will like just jump to like some of like an artist or band's like older catalog or whatever. And I had like just like AFI going because it was before the show and my wife were getting into it. And then it just jumped to their old punk stuff. I was like, this was them?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I just discovered that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been listening to lately?
I don't know. I kind of, besides like podcasts, I mean, I think one new bands I've listened to, I got into like Spirit Box.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I think, I forgot what's her name, Courtney. What's her last name? That band?
I don't know. I know Spirit Box, so
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, she's cool. They're like badass like metalcore-ish heavy metal band fronted by like a female singer, and they actually played the Grammys, and she's like just doing like these heavy like growling vocals at the Grammys awards.
Whoa, that's fucking rad.
It's like one of the like most like heavy performances like I think like the Grammys has had, so that was like really cool. And it's also cool to just kind of see like more like female musicians getting into like the metal realm, which is awesome to see.
yeah.
Also, even drummers, like there's a lot, even in the, like in the Nashville scene, there's a lot more like female drummers that are coming out, which is really cool. But yeah, Spirit Box is one. I finally recently got into like Sleep Token, which is really cool. I definitely want to like get stoned and see a show of them.
That'd be rad.
I think they're kind of, I like how they're just kind of like, you can't, they classify them as like metal, but they just like, I feel like there's like a fusion of a bunch of stuff.
Whenever people don't like Sleep Token, I think it's because it's marketed as metal. If you don't look at it that way, then it's like not as controversial of a band, you know?
Yeah.
If you listen to their stuff, I mean, they have a wide array of stuff that they do.
Yeah.
It's not just metal.
I mean, it's like really popular to shit on Sleep Token right now, but like I think if you don't go into it expecting metal, then it's like not really that controversial.
You know how I've been actually listening to a lot lately, and I didn't even think of them because I have been listening to them for a while, but I've been listening to them a lot lately, is Bring Me the Horizon. I've been a fan of theirs for a while, but they came out with an album, I think a year or two ago, that's fucking rad.
Nice.
And speaking of a band that completely changed their sound from when they started, because their very first album was like completely deathcore. There was no singing.
Well, you know why? Ollie Sykes blew his voice out like in a major way and had surgery on his vocal cords.
That's what sort of I was talking about like earlier with like technique and screaming. Like if you do it wrong, you will violently damage your vocal cords.
Yeah, and I mean, if you listen to the stuff he's doing on those early albums, it's like, well, yeah, no shit, dude. Like that's not sustainable.
Yeah. And it sounded sick.
It did. Past tense until you can't do that.
But like he does still scream, and it still sounds killer. But he got the technique down, and now it's fine. But like, even some of the stuff. There's a song called Kool-Aid. Have you ever heard it?
Mm-mm.
I think you'll really like it. It's referencing Jim Jones.
Okay.
The whole thing. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Jonestown Massacre.
Yeah.
Shout out to this sponsor for today's episode.
Is actually the Jonestown Massacre.
I say Shalad. This is actually the punch.
This is actually the Kool-Aid. That's what the punch tasted like. That's why they all fucking died. They were drinking gelada. I'd kill any man. But yeah, that album's fucking rad. It's like if I don't know what I want to listen to, that album stays in my recents, and I just go to that. I'll like put on Kool-Aid or whatever on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that album has some of the sickest fucking breakdowns because Bring Me the Horizon got into doing like a lot of electronic stuff in the mix, And there's one, he does this thing where he screams and it's like a sweep of a scream that goes up. You know what I mean? Like, "Wah!" Like that. It like goes up. But then somehow like it turns into this like record thing, like his voice, and then it like does like a little DJ thing with the scream. And it's like, oh my God, that is nasty. And then a guitar solo comes in and I'm just like, I can't stop coming.
It's painful. Stop.
It stings. But it's
Hell
so
yeah.
good. Check out that album.
Nice. You know, it wasn't actually, actually, it wasn't Kool-Aid at Jonestown. It was Flavor Aid. It was the
Flavor
knockoff.
Aid, yes.
It was
I heard
the
about
knockoff
this.
Kool-Aid.
They even did the knockoff Kool-Aid. You know, I know you like cult stuff a lot. Catholicism reminds me so much of cult stuff because they do so much weird like
Religion
culty things.
reminds me of cult stuff.
Yeah, in
Politics
general,
reminds me of cult
but
stuff.
like Catholicism in general.
Yeah.
So my daughter's mom was Catholic, and so I like got to experience some of that world, and I was like, oh, and they chant together. It's a big part of their like thing.
They're very theatrical.
They have confessions.
Yeah. Tell
me all your sins. The preacher's in there.
I know it's surprising.
Oh yeah, you turkey slut.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, growing up in a cult has taught me that everything is a cult. Like,
Yeah. Like Sleep Token.
Yeah, sleep token, like hating Sleep Token. Like,
it's two sides of the same coin.
I feel like if you get a lot of people hating you, you're doing something right.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's publicity.
Yeah, it's not
That's
bad.
people.
No press is bad press.
Well, I mean, like, it's actually better, right? It's like, what's better than everyone loving you? A dialogue. Like this group and this group talking about you is a more engagement than everyone loving you. That's actually astronomically more engagement.
Yeah, and I think also people, I mean, bands like Sleep Token, it's also just like, I think it's also a very musician band, like especially me being a drummer, like, and it's also weird that they name because like they have like the players that they don't want to know who they are, so the drummer is called Two. He just named Two, but like just like his playing is just incredible. Like even if you don't like Sleep Token, if you're a drummer, it's just like you should just watch him play.
Yeah, I mean the drums are totally insane. I would say throughout their entire catalog.
Yeah,
just really impressive.
Like just very like gospel choppy kind of stuff, and like and how he like adds like hyper like electronic elements in his playing and all that stuff. So like I said, like if you don't like a band, at least like I there's like some bands and ours I don't like, but I appreciate the musicianship behind it.
Sure. Yeah. It's like even if you don't like what they're doing sonically, you can appreciate it from like a technical perspective.
Yeah, like I'm not like super into like what is it I don't know if you classify like bands like Whitechapel or like Dying Fetus, like that kind of genre where it's like kind of like the deathcore kind of stuff. It's like I'm not into that. Like it's not something that I would like personally listen to, but like I would like I would watch. It'd be fun just to watch them play that stuff.
Yeah,
because I always get intrigued by how drummers are able to play with such endurance and stamina.
The blast beats, just insanity.
Yeah. Like I just think like watching a human being able to do something like that is fascinating.
I totally agree with you. It's really cool seeing like a master of their craft at work across, because that's like you're saying, that's extremely technically proficient. Like there's endurance, there's stamina, there's math going on. Maybe not so much with the blast beats, but like I agree with you. It's really cool seeing talented people do things.
Yeah, and it's just like it's more like double kick stuff. Like there are like guys I'm not sure if it's like triggers or anything. I mean, there's guys that I've heard. Like I think there's like another band called like I think our friend Walker who plays in Caribbean likes his band called like I think it's like Dillinger
Escape Plan
or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's like but Walker's kind of funny. He always shows me like the weird metal stuff, and like it's just like some of the drummers I hear just sounds inhuman.
Yeah,
I'm sometimes just like why and like how are you able to do that?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Is even if it's not something that you just put on in the car, you can still have like an appreciation for things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that took like a maturity level too. Like I used to kind of be an asshole like in high school to my friends that like that kind of stuff. I always like, oh, that's not real music. But that was just because I was just like immature at the time. Like I felt like me growing as like an adult and like me like doing music for a living, I've grown to like I'm more into like country now. I wasn't into that. Like I always thought it was like redneck music, but I'm like no, like those guys like especially like the guitar players that could do like the chicken pick and stuff like that's some serious like musicianship to be able to do that.
You come from a musical family?
So a little bit. Like my dad played saxophone in college, and then um, my mom like sang in operettas. But like my parents mostly like appreciated music. Like they went to a lot of shows, and they were both in school. Like they would listen to vinyls all the time. So they were like just huge music lovers, and they introduced me to like a lot of classic rock stuff. Like my mom, like when she was a kid, she watched the Beatles, like the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh wow.
You know, when they first came to the States, and she still has like the very first record on vinyl.
Damn.
What you know, like Meet the Beatles, like she has that.
Whoa.
That's rad.
Yeah, and then my dad was into more progressive stuff. Like he was really into Yes, and he also like new wave stuff. He really liked the Cars. And some hard rock stuff, like he liked Led. Like I got a bunch. What's cool is I have a bunch of my dad's like original vinyls, like a bunch of Led Zeppelin stuff, AC/DC, and but yeah, they just really appreciated music. And my grandfather played trombone, and then my great grandfather played fiddle a little bit. So like there's something like a little bit like none of them did it for a living, but they just like appreciated music.
Yeah, and supportive.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's cool. I was about to ask what was in the house growing up, but you kind of already answered that. Like
Yeah,
your dad was into which I love. Yes, I love that especially that 60s, 70s proggy stuff. Really,
Yeah.
really nice. Like jazz fusion kind of stuff. Like Jethro Tull.
hmm
Like, yeah. And then your mom like Beatles and okay.
like the Stones, and like even when my mom was pregnant with me, like they saw like Eric Clapton, and then they grew, and then I would actually live in California for a brief time throughout the '80s, and they saw like Paul McCartney and the Wings and all that
Nice.
kind of thing. But yeah, they just appreciate music. They just love music, and I think that kind of grew on me in a way.
Yeah, that's cool. It like created an environment where you could access stuff,
Yeah.
and you had like a well-rounded. Yeah, that'd be great, actually. I don't mean to put y'all on the spot, but this is something I ask people. When is the last time you cried?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yesterday. Or wait,
Bitch.
it was
Just
yesterday.
kidding. That's my favorite thing to do is like, no, be vulnerable. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then be like, you
Bitch.
little bitch.
it's sad.
No, it was actually really sweet. My girlfriend gave me this thing. So our 6-month anniversary was Friday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And she gave me this thing. It was this jar, and on the jar it says "I love you because," and inside was like 20 to 30 like little handwritten things.
Nice.
And it was just so sweet. Like I was reading through them, I was like, "This is going to make me cry," and it did.
Aw, that's sweet.
Because some of them were just like really sweet. Some of them were funny. She killed it. It was awesome. And so I did cry a little bit yesterday, not gonna lie.
No, that's healthy. It's cathartic.
Yeah. And then she called me a little bitch. Carrot and sticks, you know.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyler? You little bitch. When did you cry last? Probably today.
Yes, because I was so bad at playing a rehearsal today.
When I screamed at him at rehearsal
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, it's
No, you killed it, man.
it's sad to say. I can't really remember. I feel like I've been through a lot as far as like I don't know, just like I feel like it's weird. I feel like we live in a time we're so desensitized by everything. I almost feel like I can't. I feel like the last time I cried is just like before. I feel like technology like really has taken over. Like we're really like when smartphones have gotten more advanced. It's sad to say, but I I've had to like kind of just leave a lot inside. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's kind. I know that's not like. I know it's kind of more of a depressing answer, but I can't really remember.
That's the
What
truth,
about your
right?
wedding?
Oh,
No tears?
I was like, those were like, I was real happy. Like,
Happy crying's a thing.
I'd say like getting married to my wife, that was like a good like emotional like experience, like seeing her in her dress the first time,
Hmm.
like the first look, you know.
I heard you had a really good piano player playing at your wedding.
Oh, speaking of, he played
Nice.
he played piano at my wedding, and he in the feed on the emo nostalgia, we had people go down the aisle to Kris playing the Black Parade on piano.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah, it was cool.
that was your walk down the aisle song?
yeah.
Nice.
Well, so
Well,
like when
the wedding
when everybody
party.
else was walking down the aisle,
I got
so
you.
like the wedding party.
The wedding party walked down.
And
to
then
it.
when
That's
Brittany
awesome.
walked down the aisle, I played There She Goes because that's like
Hmm.
one of her favorite songs.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
It was
I mean,
cute.
you know-
it was a beautiful wedding. I was happy to be
Yeah.
a part of it.
but I guess when I associate with crying, I just associate with like something bad happening or like a passing of
Hmm.
a friend or friend and family, and I've just like experienced so much of those throughout my life. That's why I'm saying like I feel like I'm so desensitized because I've had that happen.
Well, it sounds like just based on the conversation we've had so far, you're like a pretty prolific instrumentalist. You be doing a lot, and that's a way of getting those things out as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
um,
I can see
Yeah.
that.
you know, like music can be highly emotional and, um, you know, experiencing it and also like making it. So, I mean, maybe that's that cathartic release.
Yeah.
You know, everyone does it a little differently.
Yeah, there's definitely been like moments of like shows that I feel really good. And there's like a definitely big like emotional release. I think it depends on the music I'm playing. And then like when I play in like a Corn True band, I'm like, I hope I gotta hang on to dear life and hopefully it's like it's almost like I feel like I'm getting through like a workout
Hmm.
playing a whole set of
Yeah.
that music.
Well, drums is, I mean, you are.
Yeah, literally a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I do let a lot out through music.
Hmm.
I'd say I don't often cry because I'm sad. I like will mainly cry over like an emotional thing like that or like a movie.
That's the same for me is like, it's not about the movie, but that's
Yeah.
when it comes out.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like rare that I'm sad, so I cry about it.
Yeah.
It's like other things like that, like something that makes me like emotionally overwhelmed. Like I'm so like happy I'm emotional.
Yeah.
Or a movie that's really sad.
Speaking of movies, you see Backrooms?
I'm not. We talked about this a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, we talked about it the other day. I don't know why I brought it up. I don't really have that much to say about it. It was okay.
Sounds great.
It was a movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just on your mind,
it's
yeah.
fine. It's there. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have any
I've heard
complaints
good
about it
things like
exactly.
that. It's like a different kind of horror movie, and that it's not like
Very
just
odd.
like scary or jump scare.
Yeah, I
more
wouldn't,
like,
it's more surreal, like a David Lynch film. It's odd and
yeah,
surreal,
unsettling.
unsettling.
Mhm.
I wouldn't call it scary. It was artsy, like a surreal artsy film.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel that way maybe about like what's his name? Key and Peele, Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Like
I
some of his
hard
movies.
disagree. Get Out scared the shit out of me.
I feel like
That scared the fuck out
they're
of me.
like they're. I feel to me like that one, Get Out, and what's the other one? Nope,
Nope.
not
There's
the
another
Aliens
one too. Oh, not Nope.
Aliens is Nope is the Aliens one. What's the other one? Us.
Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like deeply unsettling.
The concept was very odd and unsettling.
Yeah, like especially like he has a way of like the ending being like this kind of like epiphany reveal. And
Yeah.
Us was very much like that. And I was just like, oh, that's weird. It's like one of those things that like stuck with me for like a little bit after that I felt weird about it.
Yeah. We've been watching older films just because they're better. And
How much older?
just anything prior to 2010.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Movies
there's just
were
so
so good in
there's
the
so much
90s.
fucking slop these days.
Yeah.
I mean, I went on I made a whole big post ranting about postmodernism and what it's done to art. But I mean, people used to make good films. Like, it's kind of like I went to the theaters to see the Backrooms, and that was the first time I went to a movie, and I don't even know how long. Because like, what are you gonna go see?
Yeah.
You know?
It was incentivized back then, like to take risks and do all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like all about the shareholders nowadays. So like they won't
That's a fact.
take a risk on a game or a movie. I said a game because I'm also liking it to the gaming industry.
There's a lot of slop with the
Mhm.
AAA studios too.
Yeah, because that same deal. It's like they don't want to take a risk in making like an innovative new like type of game,
Yeah.
so they just put out the same fucking.
Well, they
shit
think
over
they
and
can
over.
sell you anything and you'll just buy it. That's
Mhm.
kind of they don't have to try very hard. And also they just, I could go on and on about postmodernism stuff, but postmodernism is the rejection of um, objective meaning and truth. Everything is subjective.
Mhm.
So definitionally, you cannot say anything that is meaningful or true.
Mhm.
So they don't have anything to offer or to say of value definitionally because they don't believe in meaning.
Yeah, I see what you
And
mean.
there's sort of it feels cynical. It feels like antagonistic to the audience.
Mhm.
Like I just watched the best example I can think of is I just watched Gladiator 2. Y'all seen that?
No.
I heard about it. but
Horrendous.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Abysmal.
I heard bad things.
Painful.
Yeah. Because it's a product.
And it's like it feels it feels like you hate it feels like the people that made this didn't like Gladiator. Kind of like a Last of Us 2 situation
Yeah.
where it's like you just retconned and undid the thing from the previous one, or like a Joker Folie à Deux thing, where it's like this is a counter message to the prior one. Not only is it different, but it contradicts the original, as if the people who made the sequel didn't like the first one.
Yeah.
Right. It feels spiteful, and I think it has to do. The directors of these things are bitter and cynical, and they hate life, and they hate people, and they hate their audience, and they want you to suffer.
That's kind of how I
Your
feel
suffering
about.
pleases me.
That's kind of how I feel about like some of like the comedies in like the 90s, like especially like Happy Gilmore, and they did Happy Gilmore too. It's like why? It's like the first one was amazing, and like a lot of people grew up watching and loving that movie, and it's like a movie you can go back and watch over and over again. It's still funny, and it's like I feel like when they do sequels like that to a classic, it's like a money grab. It's like
Yeah, just because they know that people will go see it.
you know, it's just like it's just like I don't know. It kind of ruins like that experience of when that movie came out.
Yeah.
You know, and then they even did like a Joder or two in like the first 20 minutes. I turned it off. I'm like, this is just shit.
Yeah,
this is a shit. I want him to be happy with Brandy in Silvertown. I don't want this weird shit sequel that they mixed Wizard of Oz and this weird ass crap they tried of a storyline. I'm like, let him be happy with Brandy in Silvertown. Let's just leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's what I want for Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's what it is, right? It's like, what if we cashed in on this decades old IP?
Yeah.
And like, what if you didn't? How about instead you go fuck yourself?
All right. Oh, absolutely.
Well, gentlemen, we talked about your album a little bit and a lot of other stuff.
We got all in there.
Did we hit all the things? Anything else you want to talk about?
You got to ask Ty. I don't know if you still do this as part of your process, but like the last question used to always be, "What do you think happens after you die?"
Oh yeah, what do you think happens after we die? You know, I have like,
you've heard enough. After 250 episodes, you're like,
we've been doing this like 6 years, and I have questions I can pull from if I feel like it's necessary, but it's gotten less formulaic.
Yeah.
But that's a great question. What do you think happens after we die?
Do you remember when you were born?
No.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah,
That's what happens.
I think it's a good theory.
But I mean, I guess that's just like a short, smart ass answer. But like, I guess like, um, I feel like it's just like you have like another huge like I feel like the life flash before your eyes is true. I think it's just like your brain releases another huge dopamine like hit, like it just
Or dimethyltryptamine.
like
Yeah,
it just kind of like releases, and then that's like that's
I gotcha.
That's
Time slows down and you live in those memories for a period of time.
yeah. I actually saw like I forgot what it was called, but there was like this one show that was really good. It was about it recently came out. It's on Netflix, but it's basically this town, kind of like this like East Coast town where there's like this weird like demonic angel that like lives on the island and kind of like takes over. But there's like a scene where this guy like kind of describes like what I'm saying, like when you die, like he talks about like a like kind of like a dope big dopamine hit in your brain like right before like everything just kind of shuts down. I'll try to look it up. You should watch it, and then because
Yeah,
that seems that because when he talks about it, you're just like you're like holy shit, that makes so much sense.
yeah. I think that's I've heard similar things. It's like a that's like observable. Like that's something that well, the question was what happens after you die. That's what happens when you die, right?
Mhm.
Is that your life flashes before your eyes.
Yeah,
And and I mean, it's kind of I guess maybe why I don't ask this question so much anymore is I mean, well, no one knows
right.
because anyone who's experienced that isn't here to talk about it. So
Right.
Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, there's just been millions and millions of people that have died, but like that we just still don't know what the afterlife
yeah,
is.
It's our fucking human condition.
I think that's what's crazy. That's like
yeah,
something that's like there's no way of us to put a chip in someone's brain, and when they die, they can see
yeah,
through their eyes.
I feel
yeah.
like I've come to terms with the idea that that's part of the game is that we're not supposed to know,
Yeah.
and that
That feels like intentional. Like
it
there's a
does. It
point
does
to
feel intentional, and that's part of the game. I feel like, yeah, the longer as time goes on, the more I realize like this is just a game.
Mm.
It feels kind of like a video game, and
That's
like
interesting to hear you say that because that's a theory.
yeah,
That's
I
not
feel
a
like there is some sort of thing beyond our universe, and that beings come and live a life on Earth as like part of a video game.
probably from different factions
Yeah,
for different reasons.
yeah, and like you accept. I heard someone saying that like when you come to life, you already know the challenges that you're going to face before you accept it. Like you're
Like you consented to be here, basically.
you consented to be here and accept the challenges that you face.
Maybe
And I was like, yeah, that's pretty interesting.
it was interesting.
I was like,
Well,
my otherworldly being must be as crazy as I am, I guess. Choosing
Hmm.
choosing to be
hopefully
me.
after this, we'll all be in something where we can all sit and talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I I kind of hinted at this earlier. I had heard for a long time that your brain releases DMT when you die. And my guess on that is that it happens, you're catapulted into the other realm of DMT, and you're welcome to stay there then instead of being drawn back. Because
I mean,
they almost always say that you have to go back. But I think it's like one of those things where it happens either A, you do go stay there forever and you leave this body behind, or B, there's this whole time dilation with DMT where it feels like a lot longer, because they say it only lasts like 15 minutes, but like it feels like a lot longer. If the theory is true that it like floods your brain with DMT, I think it's possible that it sends you there and you experience such extreme time dilation that it feels like an eternity.
that's all but confirmed because they have proven this with rats and other animals.
Yeah, that they do
Your brain
happens the same
naturally produces DMT when you die, but the reason that they haven't documented this with people is you would have to do like
There's
basically
not
an
really an
autopsy
ethical way
on a
to do it.
brain at the point that someone dies.
Yeah.
Not on a cadaver, but like at
On yeah. So there's not really an ethical way.
But they
to
have done
test
this
it.
with animals,
Mhm.
different animals. So
they do it as they die.
yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
yeah, and the brain naturally produces DMT. That is all but confirmed for us as well.
Mhm. And so
Yeah.
I think that's probably what people think of as the afterlife, is that you just go there and it feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably dependent on how you live your life.
Maybe so. And maybe that's part of like what the
That
whole
could be
like,
hell if
it
the
could be
life you
hell if
lived
you
was
lived a
not
shitty
a
life.
good one.
Right. And then so you do that. And like maybe that's the whole point of living a good life.
Yeah. You
is
get
so
exactly what you deserve because it's what you did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fucked.
On that note, check out All the Tension, their self-titled album, All the Tension.
And you'll see why I'm going to DMT hell.
Yeah. June 20th is when that comes out. And then June 24th, catch these gentlemen at the Cobra with
Drink some
The
Malort with
Hungry
us.
and the Dangerous, Sleep Nation, and Sleeper Signal.
It's gonna be awesome.
We'll see you there.
All right.
See you there. Bye, Alice.